My name is James. It's my endeavor to give you history to take back home with you. I want this to be more than just a boat cruise. I want this to be a learning experience. Is that all right? Visiting on today, this is the Island Queen. It was built in the owner's backyard. Now, he got a big backyard, doesn't he? House movers moved us down to the river. He happened to pick one of the busiest days of all days to do all the moving. This was the same day of Elvis Aaron Presley funeral. Can y'all just imagine the time he had getting this downtown? You know what? When he got it downtown, he realized a miracle happened. It floated. So once it floated, he had tons of steel coming down the hill by trucks, taking off the trucks by hand, brought down to the dock by hand, held in place, welded in place. This is what it came out to be in 1982. City of Memphis used to get their drinking water out of this Wolf River. Ain't that something? Think about all of that good lemonade back then. They started digging, they hit some artesian wells. Up came up fresh drinking water. The banks to the left during the 1800s, this used to be a dumping site for the city of Memphis. They used to dump all the garbage, all the trash along that bank there. Around 1935, they started the project, Riverside Drive. And when Riverside Drive was finished, Riverside Drive became one of the most expensive highways in the world. Now, Beale Street over here on the left, going underneath the railroad track. Beale Street got shops, clubs, and restaurants on Beale. There's a statue of W.C. Handy. Now, he's the father of the blues. Statue of Elvis Aaron Presley. He's the king of rock and roll. Blues singer, B.B. King. He has a club on Beale Street. Now, this work going on over here. This is a Beale Street landing. In other words, this is a boat docking facility for the American Queen. Well, the river been so low like it is, you see the mud sitting over there? It's real low. American Queen couldn't get up in here and dock there. So she had to dock upriver. Now, this spiral deal you see going on right there, that's just a boarding ramp. That's all that is, for boarding a vessel. They had to build it like this because, think about it, when the river rises, 2 or 3 of those ramps going to be underwater. So they had to be able to still board the boat. The glass structure you see there are going to be shops and restaurants inside there when they get done with this. So it's going to be real nice when they finish this. If things go well next year, class, you might not have to walk down those cobblestones again. Won't that be wonderful? Normally, 34 feet above zero will be flush days for the city of Memphis. You know they pay somebody now just to change that sign? Huh? Because you know back in the day it was a whole lot cheaper. Yeah, the only thing the Coast Guard did back then, they just found a wino. Yeah, give him a fifth of wine. He would gladly climb up that hill and change that sign. Wasn't that a whole lot cheaper back then? Now they want benefits. The rocks over here on the left, they call this a trail dyke. Put out here by the Lower Brothers Construction Company. They was contracted out by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to do the work over here. They came in here starting from the bottom of the river, down in those limestones until they raised them up out of the river surface. Then they brought a dredge in. The dredge was 38. Ran that pipeline behind that dike, started pumping soil and steel from the bottom of the river until this existing lake. When they got done, it took 800 barges of rock to complete that work. Raised up the level of it, they also lent them the width of it. 1973 and then again in 1976. There's a yellow and maroon roof house right here directly across from it. Y'all see that house? Now look 2 houses to the right of it. You'll see a sand color house coming in the field, and it's got a skylight structure at the top. Some iron bracket work in the front, and a local street in the front yard. 2 years. Used to be the home of actress Sybil Shepherd. That's where she used to live. Sybil would have been still living there, but she came home one night from the TV show. She went down in the basement, found out the basement was flooded. She sued the contractors and she moved away from there. There's two tall buildings on the bluff right here. Now there's only one of them that is operational. That's the one on the left. That's the River Towers. If you look at it long enough, you would notice that this used to be a Holiday Inn. Now your first Holiday Inn started out on Summer Avenue. That was around 1952. Mr. Cameron Wilson. Now your first two bridge piers was made by hand. The first two. Now look at the third one. It was made by machine. Doesn't the hand look better than the machine? They do, don't it? Give me some idea how much knowledge they had back in the old days. Now over here on our left, running down the edge of this shore over here, is an old rusty ferry ramp, falling all apart. This ramp was used during the 1800s. This was before railroad bridges was built. They did not have no means of getting the railroad cars back and forth across the Mississippi River. When the Frisco Railroad Bridge was finished, that's the Miller Bridge was come up under, they put the General McPherson on the bridge. Now your tugboat captains out here that run this river, they run in a 24-hour period. They don't have to stop or slow down for anything. By the time you reach the minute on your watch, 20 million gallons of water just floated right by you in 1 minute. Look on the bluff on the right here. There's a set of brown and beige buildings sitting over there. That is the Unitarian Church of Memphis, better known as the Church of the River. People go to church over there on Sunday, get a good view of the Mississippi River, watch the towboats go up and down the Mississippi, because the congregation sat facing the Mississippi River. So if the one Sunday morning, the pastor get happy, he want to preach 2 hours, they just look past the pastor and watch the towboat go by. Look on up the bluff. There's the White Stone Monument over here that I pointed out earlier. This is another park here in Memphis, Tennessee. The name of it is Morris Park. The monument was put over there in honor of the 5,000 people that lost their lives during the yellow fever plague that hit Memphis back in August of 1878. See, Memphis was hit by 5 yellow fevers, and that 5th one was so severe that the city of Memphis temporarily lost its name and charter from loss of population. The only thing running at that time, death wagons and missionaries. 5,000 people lost their lives. 25,000 fled the city. The city became under quarantine. What that meant was anyone that was caught trying to leave the city, they were shot. Yeah, they had to stop the plague from spreading by any means necessary. They didn't know what was killing everybody here. 4 miles north of here, there was a district called the Pence District. People living there, but they all were suffering from malnutrition. So they brought vessels in full of supplies to take care of those people. Along came with those vessels yellow fever, mosquitoes. That's what was killing everybody here. Then we get to the year 1890. Memphis had its first frost. That run the mosquitoes off. If it wasn't for the first South black millionaire, his name, Mr. Robert Church Sr., came back to this area, bought a $1,000 bond, started the first bank, then he encouraged 20,000 people come back to this area and live here. 3 years later, the city charter was restored in 1893. We're talking about the first South black millionaire, Mr. Robert Church Sr. All these years, class, we thought Bill Cosby was the first South black millionaire. But he was not. It was Mr. Robert Church. He had a hand in the towing industry. First towboat to hit the river, he had a hand in it. That's how he made his millions, Mr. Church. Do I have any fishermen up here on this third deck? Ladies, man, anybody like to fish? You like to fish? Wonderful. Let me ask you a question. You ever fish with spam meat? Never have. You fish with hot dog? Try the spam meat. It is good for catfish. Yeah, good for catfish. You know what? I had a gentleman fishing one day underneath those 3 bridges back there. Now, he was fishing with spam meat. Something hit his hook, found himself wrestling with it. By the time he got it up, he realized that it was Arkansas world's record catfish. 118 pounds. Now, you know a catfish is a fighter, isn't it? Can you see him wrestling with that 118-pound cat? Trying to get him in the boat. He wrestled with him for 1 hour. He finally got tired. He just reached down and touched his buddy that was in the boat with him. His buddy reached down and grabbed the pistol and shot the fish twice. Shot him twice to get him in the boat. He had to stop him from wiggling, didn't he? 118-pound cat. 12 miles south of here, I want to say about 8 months ago, they found something else out here in the Mississippi, sitting on the bank, a 10-foot alligator. Y'all know we got alligators in the Mississippi now. They done found 10 of them. Don't know how they got here. Now, I'm willing to believe they came over here during Katrina when they hit New Orleans. That's how we got those gators. I just told you that just in case you wondering why nobody's swimming out here today. The farmers in Arkansas over here, they grow cotton. Next year they'll come back and drop some soybeans in the fields. When the river flooded the land, the farmers in Arkansas got to wait for that water to recede before they can start back in the crops. This lets them get a late start in the season behind all the other farmers. But see, one thing about it though, when this river floods that land over there, that water recedes, it drops off a top layer of soil and silk into that farmland. Makes that some of the richest farmland in the country. So whatever they grow there, they have no problem with it coming up. The land's so rich. The soil's so rich. You know the only problem those farmers in Arkansas have over there? They just keep growing stuff that the police don't want them to grow there. Now, that's not the farmer's fault, is it? No. What about all of those seeds that flow down the river from Jamaica? Fall over that farmland. When it comes up in straight rows, doesn't it? Right. Yeah, only thing the poor farmers can do is pick it and burn it. A little at a time. Class, we come up under the oldest bridge on the lower Mississippi River back here. Frisco Railroad. Built in 1892. My question to you is, what's the name of the oldest bridge on the river? Oldest bridge on the river. Can you give me the city that the bridge may be in? Okay, St. Louis is the city. What's the name of the bridge? It ain't the St. Louis Bridge. Very good, very good. The East Bridge. Oldest bridge on the river. Built in 1873. This is the second oldest. Built in 1892. Now this bridge back here is called the Frisco Railroad Bridge. But did you know that that was not the name of that bridge at first? At first it used to be known as the Great Bridge of Memphis. But see, the owner, when he built that bridge, he felt that that bridge was not going to stand. So they condemned it. If you build a bridge you don't think it's going to stand, what you going to do with it? What you going to do with that bridge? If you think it ain't going to stand. He sold it. He sold the bridge. The next owner bought it. Now he had a hard time because the bridge been condemned. He had a hard time trying to get some insurance on that bridge because they once had a bridge that had fallen once before. He had to do some heavy convincing. And the only way he can convince the insurance company was he had some friends down at the Frisco Railroad Company. He called them up. He asked them to bring him 18 locomotive engines and park it on this bridge. When they brought those engines, he told the chief engineers, run those RPMs all the way up, because I want you to vibrate this bridge. Just to show the insurance company this bridge will stand. It's been standing for 120 years. Wow. That's when he changed the name from the Great Bridge of Memphis and named it after the railroad company, the Frisco Railroad Bridge. Second oldest bridge on the lower Mississippi River. Your farmers in Arkansas over here was losing 50 feet of land every year. See that bank you're looking at on the left? It used to come all the way out here where that green buoy is right there. That's how much of that land got washed away. Guess who got it all? The farmers in Louisiana. It floated down the river. They got all the farmland. So to keep them from washing away more of the land, now I cannot tell you if the Corps of Engineers was concerned about this land. All I know is they was concerned about the land around those bridge piers. Didn't want that to be washed away. So to keep that from being washed away, they had to protect the whole bank by putting in what we call a bank revetment. That's square blocks of concrete held together by 2-inch steel cables, runs from the edge of that shore all the way down to the bottom of the river. Then they put limestone on top of it. That was the only thing they could find to keep it from shifting. That bank revetment there. Class, they told me this Mississippi River is the third longest river in the world. Well, let's find out.
The Nile, the Rhine.
Our longest river, which is number 1, what's the name of it? The Nile. What's number 2? Amazon, which is your widest river. Number 3, some say Mississippi. We have another river longer than this river, and we forget about it all the time. The Congo. Your Congo River, third longest river in the world. Now your Mississippi falls in 4th, just for a little while. It's not 4th all the time, because this river switched places during the time of the season. It switched places with the Missouri. Did y'all know that? Every time this river is high, it's higher than the Missouri. Well, this river drops. That makes the Missouri comes back and takes over the Mississippi River during the time of the season. They do switch places during the time of the season. A 6-lane express highway bridge built in 1973 at a cost of $57 million. Steel arches on this bridge designed strictly for towboat traffic. 873 feet of space between those bridge piers. Now look at the span on it. People ask the question, why does it look like it's been cut off? That's the way it looked. I want you to know this is the way it looked, class, but it just wasn't supposed to look like this. There's supposed to have been 2 more span on that bridge, going to the left, going towards Arkansas. There's supposed to have been 2 more spans on there. What happened was, Arkansas just didn't do their part. Somebody asked if they run out of money. No, Arkansas had plenty of money. Instead of finishing the span, they took the money and started the dog track. Look at you like this. Ain't that terrible? And because it looked like this, it gave the captains imaginations out here. They called it I-40 Bridge because it's Interstate 40. Carry you across from Memphis, Tennessee, across the state line to the state of Arkansas. They call it the Big M Bridge because of its structure.
So these guys are always jockeying the same thing, no matter where they're at.